Hello again. Thanks for watching this short video message about an extremely important topic. Several weeks ago, the tragic police killing of George Floyd, a black man, resulted in a justified eruption of pain, anger, and protest about unrelenting racism in America and the world. Several weeks later, a police shooting killed Rayshard Brooks, another black man in Atlanta, Georgia. These unwarranted deaths, with others in the past, provide ample evidence that we continue to have a serious problem with racism. The first presidency issued a statement that described the death of Mr. Floyd as an outrage and emphasized the church's commitment to end racism and the scourge of white supremacy. Various teams of church leaders provided additional statements emphasizing previous World Conference resolutions and inspired words of counsel related to racism and human diversity. While statements help call attention to issues and needed change, I hope we can agree that words alone are not enough. Let's be clear. Racism is sinful. Racism denies the worth of all persons, one of the church's enduring principles. Racism operates in opposition to the reign of God on earth, and if we are for the worth of all persons and the reign of God on earth, as Jesus calls us to be, then we must speak and act against racism in all its subtle and not so subtle forms. Over the years, I've participated in various workshops on racism and human diversity. During those experiences, I had to surface and honestly face racist views and behaviors that I had accepted and absorbed as a white person from my privileged position in a white-dominated culture. Racism becomes deeply embedded in individuals if it goes unrecognized and unchallenged. And because of its persistence in individuals, it also becomes systemically fixed in our governments and institutions, including churches. Recognizing one's complicity in racism is painful, but it's not nearly as painful as being a target of racism throughout one's life. Becoming educated about the violent, oppressive history of racism is important. Equally important is genuinely feeling the pain of those who carry the burden, scars, and fresh wounds of racism today. Once I had the opportunity to support a group of African American church members as they sought to establish a predominantly black congregation. After months of mutual endeavor, they asked to meet. I was unprepared for what ensued. They confronted me with the truth about racism. Racism in society, in the church, and in me. For close to 3 hours, I shut my mouth and listened to their frustration, pain, and suffering. The experience was raw, painful, disruptive, and redemptive. I came to realize that I was part of the problem, despite my good intentions. I was complicit in assumptions, stereotypes, privileges, and systems of racism that caused untold suffering in the lives of others. I was driven to self-examination, confession, repentance, and action. At this pivotal time in history, when opportunity for fundamental change is apparent, we must fully awaken to the reality and extent of racism and the urgent need to do something about it now. No excuses, no denials, no complacency. Now is the time to work on ourselves, our congregations, our institutions, and our governments to uncover, confront, and dismantle racism once and for all. Don't expect others, especially those already bearing the harsh brunt of racism, to do the work for you. We must do our own work. May it be so, is my hope and prayer.